Hey friends, welcome to this video. I hope you're keeping really well. I do know that some of you have some additional questions on the initial Degiro video, and I really do want to address that queries that you have. So thank you so much again for leaving comments, for sending me your emails. I go through all of your emails and all your comments. Thank you so much again for that. So if you have not watched the initial video on the walkthrough of Degiro, I'm just going to link it down in the description below if you want to check it out. So let's jump right into this video. So one of the questions that we have received is what is the difference between day order and good to close? So I'll explain it right now in this video. So for example, let's say you want to buy a share. So for example, you want to buy Microsoft. So you just type in Microsoft. So when you type in Microsoft, you can buy or sell it. So if you already own the share, you can sell it as well. So let's say you want to buy it. So there's two options for you, day order or good to close. Basically, day order, it means that if that price doesn't move to that amount that you set, it will basically cancel that transaction at the end of the day. Good to close, it will keep that order on standby and it will only process the transaction when it reaches the price that you set it for the limit amount. So that's the difference between day order and good to close. So for example, let's say this is Microsoft share. So the share price right now is $240. You think that the share price is going to go down. So for example, let's just put 239. So 239 and then let's say 100. So 100 shares. And then this is the price that you will pay for 100 shares. So if the share price drops to 239, day order, within that day it will process the transaction. If it doesn't, then it will basically cancel the order. Good to close, basically, if the share price drops to 239, maybe a week from now, 2 weeks from now, months later, then only it will process the transaction. So you can leave it to good to close as a general, but if you are day trading, then only you use the day order. Generally, you can just leave it good to close so that you don't have to monitor the share price. But if you're day trading, then you can use the day order option. Similarly, if you want to sell the shares, for example, you own Microsoft shares, you want to sell it, the minimum amount that you're willing to accept is 241. So if the share price is 239, then you won't sell it. So it limits, it basically the minimum amount that you're willing to accept. So similarly, you can use day order, good to close for this. So for market is basically the market rate at that time when you want to execute that transaction. So if that price at that time is 240, it will basically process the transaction immediately. So you don't need to wait for the share price to move if you use the market option. That's just the difference between limit and market. So the next question, can you short US stocks? So you can't short US stocks on Degiro. The platform just doesn't offer this facility for you to short US stocks. You can short UK, European stocks, those kind of large cap stocks, but you can't short US stocks. This platform just doesn't allow you to short US stocks. So you can see it here on this platform. They only allow you to short certain securities, certain stocks on different exchange. So for example, like Euronext, London Stock Exchange, Irish Stock Exchange. They don't allow you to short NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange. So you can see here, if there's a particular security that you want to short that's not available, you need to contact them directly. So this platform, it doesn't offer you the facility to short US stocks. So the next question, can you trade CFDs and Forex? So basically when you use Degiro, you can't trade CFDs and Forex. This platform just doesn't offer these facilities. I do want to share a bit more about CFDs. So CFDs is contract for difference. You're basically profiting off the difference between the share price movement. So you don't really own the shares. So according to Investopedia, just read it here for you. So according to Investopedia, CFD is a contract between a buyer and a seller that stipulates that the buyer must pay the seller the difference between the currency value of an asset and the value of its contract at contract time. So basically, in simple terms, you're basically taking advantage of the share price movement. You don't really own the underlying asset. So what this means is that you're basically temporarily buying the paper asset, whereby if the share price moves in favor of the price that you set, you pocket the difference of the share price movement. And if it moves against, not in favor of the share price that you initially set it for, then you will lose out. So a lot of these kind of brokerage accounts, they offer you margins as well, whereby they borrow you money like a loan, whereby you're able to buy more shares on leverage when you want to trade. So when they offer you this kind of leverage, you would have to pay interest on this kind of leverage. So depending on the brokerage account. So but for For Degiro, CFDs, you can't buy CFDs on this platform. They don't offer this facility. You have to use another platform. So the next question, is there any minimum amounts? So there's no minimum amounts on this platform. You can even deposit like 10 euros, 20 euros to get started. There's no minimum amounts. Is there any inactivity fees? So they don't charge you any inactivity fees. They don't charge you fees to deposit money, to withdraw money. They don't charge you any of those kind of fees. I know some brokerage accounts, if you're inactive on the platform, like Interactive Brokers, they charge you a fee. But for Degiro, they don't charge you any inactivity fees. So for example, if you want to buy, you want to leave an initial investment and you want to hold the shares for long term and you don't really want to actively deposit money or actively trade on the platform, you can just leave it. They don't charge you any inactivity fees. So the next question, what's exchange connectivity fee? So exchange connectivity fee is basically the fee that they charge you when you trade on a different exchange from your home exchange. So for example, let's say you're in Ireland, you use the Irish Stock Exchange. So you won't pay any exchange connectivity fee since the Irish Stock Exchange is your home exchange. But if you decide to buy, let's say, shares using the New York Stock Exchange, you need to pay €2.50 per calendar year per exchange. So if you trade on, let's say, 2 different exchanges, then you need to pay another €2.50 when you trade on, let's say, the London Stock Exchange. So the €2.50 is the fixed amount that they charge you per calendar year per exchange that you're trading in. So it's just the exchange fee that they charge you for trading in a different exchange from your home exchange. So what's the difference between automatic currency conversion and manual currency conversion? So by default, your account uses the automatic function. So I'll just show you here right now. So when you click here, currency transaction, you basically have the option to convert your currency automatically or manually. So by default, it uses the automatic function. So basically what this means is that when you buy shares that is denominated in a different currency from your home currency, they automatically convert the currency for you. So your home currency could be euros and you want to buy US shares. So they will convert the euro amounts to USD and then buy the US shares. And then in future, you decide, okay, you want to sell the US shares. What they will do is they will basically sell the US shares. They will convert the US amount back to euros to your home currency. So the default option is the automatic option. They will charge you 0.1% above the spot rate when you use this automatic currency conversion. But if you use the manual conversion option, then basically they will charge you 10 euros plus 0.02% of the transaction amount. So for example, if you trade very small amounts in a different currency, you could be paying more because there's a flat fee when you use the manual currency conversion amount. So for the manual currency conversion amount, basically it allows you to hold currencies that is different. So for your available to trade, you could have currencies denominated in USD, denominated in pounds if you use the manual option. For the manual option, when you denominate it in different currencies, when you want to convert it back to withdraw the amount, you have to convert it back to your base currency. They won't allow you to withdraw amounts that is not your base currency. So if your base currency is euros, you hold cash that is in USD, you would have to convert it back to the automatic function and then withdraw the amount back to euros. They won't allow you to withdraw directly. And the fees that they charge you for the manual option is 10 euros plus 0.02% of the transaction amount. So if you have, like, for example, 10,000, you have to pay 0.02% of the amount that you're withdrawing. So that's the fees that they charge you for the manual option. The next question, what is the difference between bid and ask? So bid is basically the maximum amount the buyer is willing to pay to buy a financial instrument. Ask is basically the lowest or the minimum amount that the seller is willing to accept or to sell that financial instrument. So that's just the difference between bid and ask. So the last question, how do I look at my investment at a glance? So like a snapshot. So on this platform, you can see basically balance is the total amount, your portfolio, and you're available to trade. So the total amount that you have. Portfolio amount is the amount that you have in your portfolio. So all the shares that you've invested. Available to trade is the liquid amount that you have, the cash that you have available in your Flatex account. So the amount available that you can continue to buy shares. This day plus minus is basically giving you a weighted average of the sum of aggregate of all your investments. It just gives you an idea of whether all your investments is going up or down, just a snapshot. So if you want to look at your dividends, you want to see how much tax you're paying, how much foreign exchange processing fee, what you can do is go to activity, you go to account statements. Then after that, you click export. So when you click and export it out of Excel, basically you get to filter, get to see how much dividends that you're earning, and you're able to see how much dividend tax you're paying, how much foreign exchange processing fee you're paying. So you just need to filter it out, then you can see it in all the statements. So the thing to be aware of is that if you do receive dividends that is denominated in a different currency, for example, US dollar dividends in pounds, you want to group them together, because some of it's, you can see on this platform, it's all in the local currency. So if you sum all the currencies, if you sum it all together, it will give you a different figure. So you want to make sure that you group the dividends that you receive in the currencies, the similar currencies that it's in. If you receive some of it in US dividends, you want to group all the US dividends together. You want to group all the Euro dividends together, and you want to group the dividends that you receive in pounds all together. So that's just something to keep in mind. So I really hope you found this video helpful. I really hope this gave you a better idea of the Degiro platform and hopefully address some of the queries that you have. If you do have any additional queries, do leave them down in the comments below. Thank you so much again for watching. I really believe that when we share our ideas, when we share our thoughts and leave comments down in the comment section below, everyone is able to learn from each other and everyone is able to benefit and everyone becomes a winner. So thank you so much again for watching this video and for subscribing and liking this channel. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next.